So, if you're a facilities manager, a designer, you already know that walls are way more than just, well, walls. The truth is, the way you treat those walls, your choice of graphics, is no longer just about making things look nice. It's a really critical strategic decision. In this explainer, we're going to move way beyond the swatchbook and show you how to turn your walls into genuinely high performing assets.
Here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll pinpoint the hidden risks in those old school approaches. Then, I'll give you a real expert's checklist for making smarter choices. After that, we'll look at a modern solution, put it head to head with the traditional ways, and wrap up with a practical roadmap you can actually use. Okay, let's get right into the core issue. We tend to think of wall graphics as that final decorative touch. But here's the thing, the wrong system can bring in some serious operational risks. Things that hit your budget, your project schedule, and even your brand's reputation. I mean, it's a blunt question, but it's one every single facility leader really needs to be asking. Just think about it for a second. Project delays, surprise repair costs, shutting down a space for an install. These aren't just little headaches, right? They are significant liabilities. And a lot of the time, you can trace them right back to the wall coverings you chose. You know, in today's commercial spaces, wall graphics are doing some serious heavy lifting. They're absolutely essential for branding, for wayfinding that actually works and reduces confusion, and for just getting critical information out there, especially when you're managing a huge portfolio with lots of locations. This isn't just decoration anymore. It's a performance-driven part of the building. And this is exactly where traditional methods, like vinyl and wallpaper, so often just fall flat. We've all seen it, haven't we? The peeling seams in a busy hallway, the bubbling from a bit of moisture, the absolute chaos of a multi-day installation that forces you to shut down a space. Then you add in shipping delays, the crazy high cost of removal and wall repair later on, and you've basically got a recipe for blown budgets and a brand that looks inconsistent from one place to the next. All right, so now that we've really defined the problem, let's start talking about the solution. This next part is an insider's guide. It's an expert framework for evaluating wall graphic solutions based on what actually matters, performance and long-term value. So the big mindset shift you have to make is this. We've got to stop just looking at colors and textures. A truly strategic choice means you have to evaluate these solutions like any other building component. You judge them on their performance, their full life cycle cost, and the risks they either bring into your facility or eliminate. This is where we completely reframe the conversation. Instead of just asking, hey, does this look good? The real strategic questions are things like, how fast can we get this installed? Is it seamless and durable enough for our busiest areas? And this one's huge. What happens in 3 years when we need to change it? This checklist forces you to focus on the total cost of ownership. That's not just the price you pay on day one, but all the future costs of maintenance, removal, and repair, not just the initial price tag. And all of this brings us to the modern alternative, one that's designed to nail every single one of the criteria we just laid out. It's a technology built for the real demands of today's commercial environments, direct-to-wall printing. So let's be super clear about what this is. It is not a sticker, it's not wallpaper. What happens is this specialized printer applies this really durable UV-cured ink directly onto your wall. And it doesn't matter if it's drywall, concrete, or even brick. The two big things to remember here are adhesive-free, which means no buggling, and seam-free, which means no peeling, ever. You know, this quote really highlights a huge aesthetic benefit. Because the graphic is literally printed onto the wall, it becomes part of the architecture itself. It doesn't look like something you just stuck on. It feels like a custom, high-end mural or a piece of art made specifically for that site. And that just creates a much more premium finish for your space. Okay, so we have the expert checklist and we have the modern solution. Now, let's put them to the test. In this head-to-head comparison, the data really proves the value of this new approach. Let's kick things off with the most valuable resource in any facility: time. A big feature wall that might take you days to prep, install, and let it cure with traditional vinyl? Well, that same wall can be completely finished in a matter of hours with direct-to-wall printing. That means way less downtime, less disruption, and getting their spaces back up and running faster than you ever thought possible. This table pretty much lays out the whole story. With direct-to-wall, you're getting a seamless integrated finish. With the old ways, you get panel seams, and those are always the first point of failure. Now look at durability. You've got an abrasion-resistant surface versus those vulnerable edges. But honestly, the life cycle benefit is the real game changer here. A simple paint over versus incredibly costly, labor-intensive removal and wall repair. That difference alone can have a massive impact on your long-term operational budget. So, you see the benefits, you get the technology. The next question is obvious, right? How do we actually implement this? Well, this final section gives you a clear, actionable roadmap to take this from just an idea to a portfolio-wide standard. A disciplined process is absolutely key to success here. You start by defining your goals and auditing your existing surfaces. Then you develop really clear content standards before you run a pilot in a real-world environment just to test the performance. Once it's proven, then you can confidently plan the scaled rollout and set up your maintenance cycles. This isn't about guesswork. It's about a structured plan that guarantees predictable, high-quality results every single time. This all boils down to one final crucial question. In the world we live in, change is the only constant. Tenants turn over, brands refresh, needs evolve. And when that moment comes, the choices you're making today will determine if your walls are a strategic asset that you can update quickly and cost-effectively, or if they're a costly liability that needs expensive demolition and repair. The future of your facility is, quite literally, written on the walls.